So guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs, and this is a player ratings video, Derry City and Sligo Rovers. If you want me to do more of these guys, let me know in the comments as well. So just so I know what you think, if you like it, if this is something you'd enjoy. But let me know in the comments, guys. And don't be afraid to tell me what ratings you think each player should have got. It's always difficult this, and people will differ and have different opinions, of course. I'll give my man the match at the end as well, at the end of the video. So we'll get straight into it, guys. Derry City, first of all, I'm going to start off clearly with Brian Maher. Now, I gave Brian Maher an 8 out of 10. I think Maher was very solid in this game. He didn't have to do an awful lot. There was one scenario where Kirk played a ball into the box, took a wicked deflection, and he just did well to knock it clear. So he was on his toes, even though he's a spectator for large parts of it. He's not much of a spectator that he decided to run out of his goal a couple of times to get the ball. All joking aside, though, very good sweeper keeper as well, isn't he? And he swept up brilliantly in this game. He reads it well as well. So distribution good as well. Can't really fault him. 8 out of 10 for Brian Maher. Right back, Ronan Boyce. I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, Ronan has come back from a lengthy injury now. He's back a couple of games now, to be fair, and he looked solid again. I thought he put in a good performance. Didn't do much wrong. Was allowed to get forward at times, particularly in that first half. And aged grading on that right-hand side. Good on the ball as well. Solid performance, 7 out of 10 from Boyce. Cameron Mcjannis on the left. Now, generally, I'm going to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Mcjannis at left back. I think he's generally better centre back, but this is arguably the best game I've seen him playing the left hand side, be that left wing back or left back. I thought he played really well actually. He contributed well, linked up with Duffy brilliantly, I thought, on the left hand side. Got some good crosses into the box, particularly that chance that I fell to grade early on where he should have scored. It was a lovely ball in by Mcjannis, and he did brilliantly to actually get to the byline. So Mcjannis for me gets an 8 out of 10. Probably his best performance I've personally seen him play for Derry City in that position. Now, at centre back, we have Shane Mccelhenny, and I thought Shane put in a solid performance. Himself and Mark Connolly were tasked with keeping an eye generally on Keane. And now, as I said in the match review video, Sligo didn't offer too much going forward, so it was very hard to judge both centre backs actually. But for Mccelhenny, 7 out of 10 for me. Didn't really put a foot wrong in the game. Distribution not as good as Connolly's in my opinion, but we'll get to Connolly in a minute. However, he gets a 7 out of 10 because right at the end, I thought he made a very telling challenge to stop Mata from scoring an equaliser. Mccelhenny does well to get back in the position, put him off. So for me, 7 out of 10. Mark Connolly also given a 7 out of 10. Similar performances. Just distribution, I think, was a little bit better than Mccelhenny's, but I'll also give him a 7 out of 10. In midfield, then, I'm starting with Patrick Mccelhenny. Now, Patrick did pick up a yellow card, although I think this one was harsh. All the other yellows in the game were fair, in my opinion. This one was harsh. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Just kept things ticking in the midfield. In that first 20 or 30 minutes, interchanged a lot with Patching, doing very well, keeping things ticking. Had a one shot at least. He might have had two, actually, in the game as well. That just went wide actually as well. So it was a good performance, good solid performance by Mccelhenny, and you need those players to keep things ticking in the middle of the park. Will Patching, onto him, I'll give him a 6 out of 10. I think he started off well, but I do think he faded in the game, if I'm honest, which is not a bad performance. It's a 6 out of 10, remember. It's a decent performance, but he did fade in the game and eventually got subbed in 70 minutes. I think sometimes he might have the best stamina compared to some of the other players, but a decent enough performance from Patching. And obviously he did score the winner as well, to be fair, with the free kick. I said in the review video, I think McNicholas should have done better, but he did score the goal. 6 out of 10. It was a decent performance from Patching, to be fair. His midfield partner, Cameron Dummigan, solid enough game, busy game. Did have a strike where it opened up for him, and was saved from McNicholas from about 25 yards. Picked up a needless yellow card, though, in the game as well. And he did play a dodgy back pass, which could have got them into trouble, but Mar got them out of trouble, actually. But apart from that, he did sweep up well, to be fair, and he covered a lot of ground. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Ryan Grayton, I'm also giving a 6 out of 10. He worked very hard in the game. tried to work with Boyce and gave them some width, got into the box and should have scored at least one. Their two best chances probably fell to him. Header just went wide after 8 minutes where he should have scored really from a Mcjannis cross. Another opportunity later on. Not as easy to be fair. Duffy pings one in and Graydon heads it wide, but not an easy chance that one. But he's getting into the positions and working hard. It was a decent performance, but he'd be disappointed he didn't score a goal, I feel, at least. Michael Duffy, 8 out of 10. Very busy performance. He's really getting better, isn't he, since he's come back from fitness. He's working, nearly getting better within every game almost. Left wing in this one caused Banks an awful lot of problems. Linked up well. Mcjannis had some opportunities, actually. He's dying to score, isn't he, after that brilliant goal at the weekend. Had a couple of opportunities in this game. That cross for Graydon as well, as I said. Often appeared centrally as well and on the right occasionally as well. But predominantly on that left wing. And Duffy, look, he's a brilliant player to watch, isn't he? I love watching Duffy play. Good performance from him. I'm giving him an 8 out of 10. Finally, for Derry, Jamie McGonigal, 5 out of 10. I think it was an average performance, if I'm honest, from Jamie. Worked hard. Can't deny his work rate. A player I'm a big fan of, but seems to have lost his confidence a wee bit, which is disappointing. Hopefully he gets that back. Had a shot where he ballooned over the bar. That said, he had a good strike in the edge of the area as well that just went over. He peeled back and, worked the space and had that shot. But another chance where Mccelhenny actually played the ball through to him and maybe controlled it better as well. It wasn't the best pass from Mccelhenny, but I think a confident McGonigal might get onto that into his left foot, maybe let it go across his body instead of trying to reach it with his right foot. So he's a player lacking confidence at the moment. But at least he's working hard. But I'll give him a 5 out of 10. On to Sligo Rovers, and they'll be disappointed overall with the performance, I think. But check out the review video if you want to listen to the review of the game. But we'll start with McNicholas, obviously, in goal. I'm giving him a 6 out of 10 because he did make some decent saves in the game. I think he should have done better. It wasn't a goalkeeping error, by the way, but I think he could have done better having got across the patching shot. I dealt with everything fairly well, to be fair. So it wasn't a bad performance. 6 out of 10. Lewis Banks, I'm giving a 5 out of 10. I think with Lewis, I think he had trouble, to be honest, with Duffy on the day, which most defenders do, by the way. So when Duffy's on it, he's very difficult for any fullback to deal with. So, it's certainly no insult. But, Mcjannis coming up that side as well, putting them under a lot of pressure, I feel, too, which probably didn't help his cause. So he's getting a bit overloaded on that side. Banks, he also picked up a yellow card for his trouble in the game. So Banks a 5. Kirk on the other side, left back, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 because he did play 1 or 2 dangerous balls into the box in a game where Sligo didn't really attack an awful lot. Didn't do an awful lot wrong defensively either in the game. So he was up and down. I think he's played quite well actually for Sligo this season, Paddy Kirk. Interesting having left Bowes and then on to Longford. But 7 out of 10 for Kirk. Centre backs, Shane Blainey, 6. Didn't do an awful lot wrong, but 6 out of 10 is, it's a decent performance, as I said before. The funny thing with Sligo, there weren't too many, what you would say, absolutely brilliant chances for Derry in the game. So they weren't at 6s and 7s, but at the same time, they're well protected generally by the midfield, who worked very hard for Sligo. So didn't do anything wrong, really. Shane Blainey is 6. Heinecker, I'm going to give a 7. I think, his distribution was quite good in the game. I think he was a little bit more, not solid than Blainey, but there was more, you can notice more clearances and winning headers and stuff like that than Blainey, that kind of way. So he's more involved. For that reason, I give Heinecker a 7 out of 10. The midfield 3 were all difficult to rate because they all had the same job and did it well. Adam McDonald, I gave a 6 out of 10 to. Worked very hard, couldn't really impact on the game going forward, unfortunately, because of the way they were set up, if I'm honest with you. So he gets a 6 out of 10. Great Bulger, the same. He was in the centre of the 3, 6 out of 10. Ran out of steam, I think, to be honest, as well. Worked very hard, held the middle quite well as he could. And with players like Patchin and Mccelhenny around, I thought it was just a solid performance, worked very hard, but again, couldn't really impact things on the ball. Robbie Burton, a 6 out of 10 because he did create one of their better chances in the game with that free kick, but he did pick up a needless yellow card as well in the game. But it's one of them where probably McDonald and Bulls were a tiny bit better than him. But again, he worked and graphed very well and protected that defence well for Sligo overall. Uh, Frank Livock, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 because I think he was their bigger threat going forward at times when he stretched his legs. Just one or two times, you felt like if they could get the ball to him early, could cause problems. Unfortunately, he didn't really get the service, but a couple of times he got to stretch his legs and got the ball wide, but either there was no one really there to support or Derry smothered him, but he did reasonably well, 7 out of 10. Fitzgerald, I'm going to give 5 out of 10. He did work hard, and as I said in the review show, himself and Livock were forced centrally a lot of the time defensively, particularly in that first half. He worked his socks off, but just couldn't impact the game in any way at all going forward. 5 out of 10 for Fitzgerald. And Keane up front, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10. Again, a decent performance, but starved of possession. Starved of possession. He did create that chance for Mata at the end, which could have been interesting that Sligo got that equaliser. But he was starved of possession. Didn't do bad in the game, but a striker isolated is very difficult. So you can't judge him too harshly, but 6 out of 10 is decent. So, guys, on to man of the match, and I've given it to Michael Duffy. I think Mcjannis was close personally, but Michael Duffy, as I said when I was talking about him there, he was just excellent. He was a joy to watch at times, and he's going to get better again. So, Michael Duffy is my man of the match. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. Who was your man of the match? Let me know if this is something you'd like to see going forward. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, hit your bell notification button, and good night.